Hey guys, this is my first time trying to make a YouTube video, so it's going to be a bit scuffed. I'm going to be a bit lost for words sometimes, so I'm just going to be blabbering on about stuff for New World here, and it's more going to be on the sort of theory crafting side of things. Like, I really enjoy theory crafting, and I have a lot of experience with theory crafting. So I just want to kind of get my thoughts out onto the video here and sort of show you guys on the website here that New World Fans has provided us. So thanks to them that I can do this here and sort of get my thoughts out. So this build is focused on a group PvP tank build. Now I need to first get my thoughts out about what I think a tank is. Now, a tank, in my eyes, should be something that is, obviously first absorbing damage, right, and sort of taking the hit. And secondly, I think that tanks should be more focused on crowd control. So we're gonna have a lot of crowd control in this build here. So okay, so we got the purpose that I've got here is siege. Now, yeah, sure, mostly it's going to be focused on like the 50v50 sieges, but it can be used in probably like the 20v20 what's it called again? I can't remember the name of the 20v20 thing, but it can be used there probably as well, and also like open world PvP. So stats, we'll first go over the stats here. So probably you want, with gear you can get the 300 points, right? So we're gonna have that first. Obviously you want to have as much health points as possible, but if there is a secondary stat, it would probably have to be strength, because with the weapons that we're using, there's not really any use in those other ones. So it'll be a mainly constitution focused build on stats, and then secondary stat you can go strength, so at least maybe you can do some damage, right? Right, so I'm gonna scroll down here. So we got the build maker thing here, where you create the build. Now I have a build that I made earlier on my second monitor here. I made this like let's say about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. But I'm gonna do it on here so that I can sort of go through it with you guys at the same time, and share my thoughts as we go along the way here. So first weapon set is a sauna shield, mostly because it can block very well, and it can absorb more damage, which is good, right? Tank build. And then there's the second weapon set. It might come to a surprise, but it might not. I'll explain, but we're gonna go with the Great Axe. So first I'm gonna go through all the skills on the sword set here, and then we'll go from there. I have some notes, not completely unstructured, but mostly me just blabbering on here. Okay, so yeah, the job of tank is absorbing damage, crowd control. So let me just grab this up here so I'm not completely lost. So we'll start off with the defender stuff, right? When I look at the build first, I want to see like what ultimates are available, right? So we got like leadership, which is giving us 10% extra damage, and defensive fortification, which is 30% damage absorption for people within 2 meters. Now, if there's multiple tanks on the front line, there'll be multiple people with this, so there should be quite some coverage of like high damage reduction. So this one seems to be more favorable for me, so we're gonna have to go into the skill tree first. So yeah, the first skill we got here is Shield Rush, which has got a bit of mobility and some CC. Again, I just want to say before I go into any of these, I don't 100% know how these skills work in game. because they might have changed how they work from the preview event. So I have no idea how they actually work in game. This is all just like theory, right? So just my thoughts on how the skills work. So yeah, rush forward 5 meters, knocking back. That's what we want. And then we got a debuff with it. This will give us extra debuffs, but because of the slow, it's gonna like 4 seconds, 30% slow, which isn't like a lot, but it might be enough to help with other people coming in and like lining other skills up and stuff. That makes sense. So we're gonna first go with this, but obviously we have to work our way down, right? Because that's how the skill trees work in this game. Like you need to go at each level to get to the bottom, right? So you need a certain amount of points to actually get the ultimate. So we need to put a decent amount of skill points into this tree. So what do we do, right? So we look at all the passives here now, okay? Shields provide more armor. Okay, sure, we'll take that. You know, stamina damage reduced when blocking from melee attacks. Okay, that's good. We want that. So we're going to take that. Well, elemental resistance reduces all damage from all types of magical types. Now, I think from what I know and have seen, I think there's about I want to say 5 different magical types. So this is good to have. So we're going to take that. Okay, when you block an attack, you gain 10% fortify. So I think what fortify is the damage reduction. I think it's you get like 10% damage reduction for 5 seconds, right? So we'll take that. So we're also taking high grip. Stamina damage is reduced by 25% when blocking a ranged attack with a shield. So it's like the melee one, but for ranged. So this is also helpful because when you're in melee range, so imagine that you're in a 50v50 siege fight and you need to contest a node. You're also going to take range damage, so we do definitely want to be taking this one here. So now that we've come down to here, we can freely take this. We're going to take also one with the shield. This will just generally help reduce the cooldowns overall. Even if it's just 1%, right? In the rest of the build, there's not actually a lot of other things that we can take, so we're just gonna take this. Oh, I can click here. Okay, so we figured that out. Sure. So next, right, so now that we've unlocked this skill, this is the big skill, I think, in the Sword and Shield, which is I'm not sure how it works in game. Maybe it's like a skill that you have to like channel or something. I don't know. But looking at it, how I see it is it's a 30% damage reduction for 8 seconds. So we're gonna take that. That's pretty big. And then we can jump down and take the passives for the skill as well. So that's extra damage reduction if you're above 50% health. And also, yeah. So when this skill ends, you're going to gain 15% of your max health when the skill ends, right? So basically, the more health you have, the more healing you actually get from this, right? Because 15% of your max health. So if you have like 1k HP, you're gonna get like 150 health back healing. Just an example. So we have all right. I can take this passive now, but we have a few more things to get. So I'm gonna get this because of the slow, and the other 2 skills, I'm just looking at over here quick. The other 2 skill passes we're going to get is Fortitude. So when you're holding a sword, your current max health is increased by 10%, which is great because, well, health is great, right? So we're going to take this. And then we got this one as well. So all incoming healing and regen is increased by 10%. That's just more sustain, more tank. We want that. So in this skill tree, this is all we're actually going to take. I'm not too bothered about taking this last passive here because we're not really focused on damage, right? We're just more focused on tanking. So I haven't decided to take this skill. Now we still have one more ability left. Now you could go shield bash, right? But the way that I've looked at this is that we need a little bit more mobility, maybe, because if you do get stuck in a sticky situation, then probably want a chance to get out. So what I've thought about is taking Leaping Strike. It's a 4-meter leap on 25-second cooldown. I'm not sure how the animation for this is, or if they've if I remember correctly from the preview event, this skill was not amazing. But I would have to go back and check the patch notes and stuff, but I think they buffed it to make it like a more of a leap. So this goes a bit further. So this would help with mobility if that is the case. So we're gonna try and we're gonna go for this. So the final attack in your light attack chain is slow. So obviously you're not just gonna be sitting there all the time, just being a meat shield, right? So, and you are going to be attacking to apply some pressure, even if it's not a lot. So when we do attack, we're applying at least some debuff, right? It's slow. So we're going to be taking this. Okay. We still have 3 more points, and we got to get to here. So the next skill that I am taking is Brain Justice. Now, I think this skill is a must-have, because if you do hit someone with a heavy attack, which I think isn't too hard, then you lose all debuffs on you. So you're basically cleansing yourself just from doing a heavy attack, and I think that's really free. So I think must-have, especially in larger scale fights. Then we can take the Leaping Strike, but now we still have 1 more skill point, and I think the only real thing worth taking is mobility. So it just allows us, when we're blocking and absorbing damage, we can move a little bit faster, so that we're not really like rooted and stuck in place. So this just helps us with a bit more mobility. So this sort of concludes the Sword and Shield set. Again, it's just more focused on applying a little bit of buffs, debuffs, tanking, absorbing damage, bit of mobility, cleansing from here. Hopefully that makes sense. So now we're going to go on to the weapon set 2. So let me just pull it up here. So with the Great Axe in the game, from what it sounds like, again, I haven't looked at all the I don't know how the animations and stuff work. But from looking at the Great Axe, it provides an insane amount of CC and mobility. So, like over Hammer, which apparently recently got gutted, Great Axe is just like, in my opinion, far superior for this role, for the class. So, we're going to be looking into the Reaper skill tree mostly, and then we've got a little bit in the Mauler as well. So again, we're going to be looking at the ultimates, right? So Mauler's Fury is first, increasing damage. We're not really interested in damage, so the other thing that we're going to look at here is moving 30% faster. We're going to be on the front line. We're going to be close to people and looking at people forward, right? We're going to be looking forward because we're going to be blocking forward with our shields and stuff. And when we switch to Great Axe. So moving 30% faster whilst looking at someone within 50 meters, that's huge, because the first skill that we're going to be taking is Reap. Now, having a pull that's 5 meters, I'm assuming that you're basically hooking people in, and this sounds really, really strong. So we're going to be taking Reap, right? That's the first thing we're going to be taking is Reap. And yeah, so I'll just progress through here. So we're going to want all the skills in Reap, and we're also going to want Bloodlust. So yeah. So the first thing that Reap offers is now increasing the range to 8 meters. So you can just hook people in within 8 meters. That's I just think that's huge, because I mean, pulling people out of position, and you can like focus AoE damage on the right point and all that is so strong. Something else we're going to be taking is this. So after hooking people in, we're going to be gaining, and obviously we're going to be doing some light attacks in between. So just doing 2 quick light attacks will give us some movement speed. There might be another skill worth taking over this later on, but for now we're just gonna take this. I don't know if it actually stacks with this, so I don't know if you gain like a 50% movement speed, or I don't know how these two work together, but we'll see. Right, the next skill we're going to take is charge. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, if the build's focused on CC, then why don't you just take like the other CC skills? Well, I'll explain that later on, but for now, all I'm going to say is like you need mobility, and charge provides mobility on the Great Axe, and that's what we're going to run. So we're gonna run with charge here. So it's a 10 meter charge basically, right? You just charge forward, and you can move in like any direction with that. We need skills in the skill tree, so we're gonna go down, and that allows us to then get this and this, and then so I think we're gonna take this one too. Having the extra skills on the charge here. I mean, again, we don't do a lot of damage. That's not really the purpose of the build, but we need points to get Bloodlust so that we can move faster. Now, you could just take like all the other passives, but a lot of the passives are just really focused on damage, so, and we want more points in here anyway, so hopefully that makes sense. So we're gonna just get 2 more points into this tree, and then we can get the Bloodlust. So this, I think this one was just a filler, really. Enemies under 50% health would get a 15% more crit chance against. And then the other one I got here is feed. The Great Axe attacks below 30% health now heal you for 10%. This might just help a little bit with like healing us and staying, but now we can get Bloodlust. Okay, so in the Reaper tree here, there is this one passive here which when you crit, you heal for 10% of the damage done. You can probably maybe take this skill if you substitute either like critical condition or executioner speed. Like you can take this out a bit of there, you can take this out a bit of there, but for now, this is what we got in this skill tree. So in this skill tree, the thing that we want the most is Gravity Well. You read this, throws an axe to create a vortex that pulls foes to its center for 3 seconds, and then it ends with some damage. Now, this skill just sounds like an AoE pull. So what you can do, if Reap does pull multiple foes, what you can do is Reap into Gravity Well, and then you can just hold people in place for a bit. That sounds like a lot of CC, and obviously there'll be multiple people running this, and you can sort of rotate it and lock people in a lot more. In the Mauler skill tree, we're going to try to get here. So we don't want this other skills. So what we want to do is take the passives to get to the Gravity Well. Taking Mauler's Resolve, I think, is a no-brainer because you just gain free stamina basically every 20 seconds if you're below 50% health, that is. So it's like, it's good enough to invest in it, I think. Heavy Pull, again, this is just more CC. Heavy attacks pulls first closer to you. I think this is like really strong as well, so we're going to take that. The only thing to progress from here is Enduring Pull, which heavy attacks on the Great Axe gain Grit. This is a huge passive, because Grit, I think, is the only thing in the game that's going to be so you don't get crowd controlled. So you want to try and have Grit to build if you can. So we're going to be taking that. I mean, again, it's the only thing we can take. So again, kind of free. So we should take this this skill right here. So now we have access to Gravity Well. So we're going to take Gravity Well, and we're going to take its passives. Allies gain Fortify while standing in your well. That's good, because 20% damage reduction. I'm pretty sure Fortify is reduction. So we're going to take that because it makes sense to take that. Damage is, it's just a bit of extra damage, but it's whatever. You just want unyielding. Right. So we have 2 more points left, and the only other things that we want, I think, is Gravity. So how I think this works is that Reap. I don't think Reap. I think it's more for these skills, the Whirlwind, Maelstrom, and Gravity Well. So they're just pulled for they're just held in place for 10% longer, which isn't a lot at all. So I think what this would be is 0.3 extra seconds, which is nothing. But you know, it could make the difference. And then we got crowd protection here. So you gain 10% armor when 3 or more foes are within 4 meters. So this will just help tank more when you're not on Sword and Shield. It's really nice, I think. So this concludes my build. My ideas for a group PvP tank build. You'll see in future videos how this build will also work with other builds. Like I have a build for all the roles, but for a frontline DPS build, you'll see how the frontline DPS build kind of synergizes with this build here, because they're both in the front line. They're both going to be together. They're both going to be working together, and hopefully if you watch both the videos, then you'll sort of see the synergies that I and I'll try to explain them in the online DPS video. But yeah, that concludes this video really. I guess thank you very much for watching if you made it this far. I know that I'm rambling a lot. Thank you again, newoldfans.com. For providing this this website so that I can actually do this here. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Sorry if it's a bit unstructured than that. This is just my first time sort of doing this. So. Right, I'll see you guys in the next time.